This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions. Hi, this is Joe Rabil with Invest Like a Pro. So in today's video, I'm going to go into Fibonacci extensions and show how to use those as price targets potentials. And they're typically areas, they're not exact points, but when we can overlap them with some other things that we look at, I think we can start to build a case for an exit. I do the same thing on the buy side, and I do a lot of videos on entry and building up a case for a buy. The same thing should hold true on the exit side. If you don't have some form of an automated sequence of exiting, which I kind of encourage to help really be a little bit more consistent. If you're looking at ways to sort of identify based on your entry and what the stock has done, I like to use dynamic targets. And so I'm going to just show you some things that can be helpful using these Fibonacci extensions. So let's go ahead and get into this now. Just a quick reminder that if you want to get a little bit more information about all my strategies using ADX and MACD, moving averages in multiple time frames, you can go to rabilstockresearch.com/book. I'm offering the book as a PDF at a discount at $5.99. If you buy it off of Amazon in hard copy, it's $16.99. One of the other things I should mention is for anyone who has subscribed to my course, I am going to be adding in some I'm going to add in an additional section on Fibonacci's and retracements and extensions, just because I think it's important. It's something that I have used in over time, and I do want to make sure I cover that. It was something that probably should have been originally included, but I didn't want to overwhelm people with too much information. But if you've gone through the course, this will be a nice add-on piece of a section that that'll have a few lessons in it. All right, let's get into this though. I'm going to just so one of the things that I want to impress on you is that if I'm showing something on this channel, or if I'm showing it, if I'm doing it in my course, if I'm talking about it in my book, if I present it on Stock Charts TV, it is something that I have done I've traded on and used with institutional clients for a long time. I will not talk about something unless I am an expert on it, all right? Or I feel like I'm an expert on it. And so to me, that means that I've traded with it and or used it as a research tool for my institutions. So I want to emphasize that because even though I don't include this in a lot of my strategies, I do think this is important. I did it for a long time, and actually where I used what I'm going to show you today was trading the S&P E-mini off of tick charts back in the early 2000s. And so what I want to do is I just want to give you a sense of what, and I'm using TradingView for this. They have a pretty nice extension tool. That's this trend-based fib extension. And what you do is you start from a low, all right? Oops, let me delete that and start over. You start from a low, you make a move up, and then you pull back to the retracement point, okay? Now, a few things I want to emphasize with this, that it's not exact, all right? I've said that already. It's not something that's going to give you these exact levels. Like I show a lot of my targets that I use, my subscribers know, my monthly subscribers know that I have special targets that are exclusive to my subscribers that can be used in conjunction with this type of thing. And it can give you a pretty strong area. But what I want to emphasize today is that what we're trying to identify is we have a low in place and we make a move to the upside and then we pull back. All right. This is a measured move. Is how I would consider this move off the low is a measured move. So what we want to do is after the pullback, use this level here and figure out what 100% would be, or in this case, a 68% retracement, and then 100%, and then 138%, and then 200%. All right. And I specifically wanted to show, yeah, it's not perfect. We can see that it actually came in somewhere in between here. Now, what I have found is that you want to continue to update that. So if we make an additional move beyond that, you want to go ahead and take this measured move. So we can take this leg right here and create a leg off of here. All right, so that's the move to the upside. This is the pullback, and this is the extension. All right, so that's what we want to be on the lookout for. So this is the pullback, and then we go to the extension level. All right, so in this case, we're looking at this move here as our measured move, and I think this is a much better one. Why is that? Well, the pullback is actually the pullback into the zone. It's the start of a new trend. All right, so we've made this move off the low, and this is our measured move. This is how strong the stock was initially, because when we drive a stock off of a bottom or off of a top, it's sort of telling us just how strong that move is. And then we get the pullback, and then again, we draw in our extensions. Now, I like to include the momentum when I'm looking at this. So you can see how strong the momentum was at the 618. Well, I mean, this is showing a lot of momentum confirmation at this point. Even at this point to the upside, still showing really good momentum because MACD is, look at this strength here, right? Then we get another pullback and we move up, and this time we get up into the 138 level. So this is how you kind of want to look at these. You can use them in conjunction with the lack of momentum here. We're losing some momentum here. We're losing some momentum in the DI, starting to show some signs that the sellers are maybe gaining a little strength. And this is an area where we can show some kind of a top forming. Now, you can do the same thing to the downside, and I can draw this in like this. And again, you know, is it an exact level? No, but what we can do here is get an idea of that we're getting close. We're beyond the momentum here is very strong, and then it has some downside continuation. The momentum starts to slow. We end up trading around the 100% move. So this is the measured move. And if we take that and add it to this, that's here. So we overshot it, but then we kind of traded around it for a while, right? Then you can also look at this from the next bottom. And we take a move to here, and then look at what happens in this trade. It actually comes up, just almost reaches the 138. But I view this more like an overshoot. Let's get rid of these. I almost view this as an overshoot of the 100%. Why? Because this was such a dynamic move, big, massive move. It overshot this leg, and then it ended up trading around the 100% level. Now we're sort of moving again. So I think what you can do is take this here and start from here and create a new leg to the upside. So I just want to point this out. So let me just give you another example. I've already done a few of these. I wanted to do some that were already completed to the downside. So look at this measured move. You see this strength of this move? That is a powerful, powerful move to the downside. So we want to be on the lookout for the different levels, and this was 100% to the downside after this rally. We can see that we made it down to the 618, rallied off that, and then worked our way down, and that was essentially the bottom area right around the 100%. So something to be on the lookout for. Let's look at something like SKT. I did two of these. Again, because they were completed, so we get a move to the downside, we get a rally up. This is not exact, it's close enough, and we get a 200% move off of this initial leg to the downside. You see that? So it was twice. So whatever this was, you take it by 2. That's what this ended up being. Then we get a legitimate rally, and we start the sequence all over again and create a new one from here to here, and it drops down to the 138. Now, so the more dynamic the move to the downside, the more violent the move to the downside. Sometimes it'll overrun it, and sometimes it'll hit it on the nose. This is more of a climax sign rather than a divergence reversal, right? So then we can go and look at another example of something like Boeing. Look at this move to the downside, followed by a rally, and then we get our move to our downside move after we finally broke the 618. So notice how it came down on the 618 and rallied. And now look at this. So because this was such a violent move to the downside, it overshot the target area. You see that? So it's another one form of a climax pattern, making a move with no real sign of divergence. But because of the dynamics of it, you would have been thinking somewhere around this 147 area. You want to be looking to see if there's other reasons why you want to be taking targets. There could be other target areas. You could be using this with bands if you like bands. I don't like to have too much on my charts. Let's look at this example as a final move here. We got to move to the upside. We have our measured move, and then we get a deep retracement, and then it moves up. And look at how this has been trading around the 100%, right? So this is our initial leg. And then if we take that leg and add it to this low, it brings us up to here. And we can see that we've essentially been trading around that. Now, if this makes a move and breaks out, we can adjust this and create a new target area, which can be done in two different ways. So if you wanted to use this low as a way of creating that, you can do it. You could also do overlapping targets. Let me just get rid of this so I can show you. In a lot of cases, they won't be this close together, but you can create one off of this bottom here, and then you could create one off of a higher low. In this case, they're basically the same, but let's say you had a bottom here, you could create another one. Let's say there was another bottom, another high and another low here. You could create another sequence, and that can give you overlapping targets, right? Where we can get a 138 that matches up with the 2 or something like that. So that's how I would go about using these as extension tools, as target tools when you're playing in a stock that meets all your criteria to the upside. Now, again, I think you can create channels that can help. So let's say this breaks out and decides to create a channel. You can use those channel lines to help you and see if there's overlap. I would rather use these channel lines like this rather than having the bands on my charts all the time, because I can just take this, put it on, see if there's any confluence amongst this and the fib targets. So anyway, just a few ideas for you in terms of targets. I like to use targets in conjunction with momentum. So if I get a move here and it's moving up and the momentum is really, really strong and there's no sign of slowdown and there's no sign of climax, and I'm not selling at this level necessarily. It might be a partial profit, but I'm not selling automatically unless I get a confluence of events where we move up, we get divergence here, we get divergence here, and we're hitting one of these key 100%, 138, 200% levels. If I have that, that is a really good exit point. All right. So hopefully this gives you a few ideas to go investigate. Go ahead and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.